Fuck it. Let's talk about the Switch.
Yeah. It's enough negativity about games that we're actually enjoying. Let's be negative about things we won't enjoy.
No, we're not. First of all, listen. We have to have a disclaimer beforehand.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to be critical, okay? Not necessarily negative. The idea is to be critical.
Uh-huh.
And I think, at least
I'm
for me...
just going to be honest. I don't even know if I'm going to be critical or not.
Yeah, well, that critical means, critical not in the sense of being a critic, but of applying like logic to things.
Okay.
Why should we start doing this now?
Why are you giving the disclaimer?
Yes, please, right. Come on. You're ruining the disclaimer. What else was I going to disclaim? I think that we all would like Nintendo to succeed.
Very much so.
With their consoles. Nobody wants to see the video game industry hurting in any capacity. That's not good for anybody. Okay, that's the end of the disclaimer.
Did you watch this presentation?
I watched the presentation.
All of it?
No.
Oh, okay. I watched all of it. I told myself I was just going to watch a little bit at the beginning, but that beginning hooked me. I was like, I got to see where this is going.
That was like they hooked you by repelling you. They like tried to repel you, and you're like, wait a minute, are they trying to get me to stop watching?
Did you think, like, to start with, we were just going full on Waggle? The Waggle is back.
Waggle's back, baby.
We are bringing the Waggle back.
Well, that's what worked for them in the past.
Well, I realize that.
To a point, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to bring that back.
The Waggle was really effective. The Waggle with the Wii was super effective at showing well on TV and getting people to say, hey, that thing looks like fun that I could do with my whole family in the living room. And then people bought it. A lot of people bought it. Sold over 100 million units. Mm-hmm. They got it home. They played Wii Sports, had an awesome time for like a half an hour or an hour.
I'd give it more than that.
Okay, no, but then they like played it like maybe another time or two, and then never touched it again.
I think you're being a little hyperbolic there. I think people played Wii Sports a lot.
A lot?
I do.
Okay, maybe.
I do think a lot of, especially with kids, Wii Sports, and then people picked up Mario Kart.
Okay, fine. That's. I guess that's fair. I mean, that maybe I was speaking on my own personal experience there.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, there's.
But the point,
everybody played Wii Sports.
Okay, but the point is the waggleness becomes a gimmick at some point where you're just not getting. There's not that much to it, and you can't. The fun that you get out of it hits a peak and then falls off dramatically after that. And I don't know that you can really change that with a new console if it's just more Waggle.
Well, and that's not just what this is, but we're just talking about the Waggle.
Yes, they kicked off
because that's what they led with.
Yes, I was shocked by that, quite frankly.
The craziest thing about this 1-2 Switch game to me is they show you this console. This thing has a screen on it. I'm not crazy here. This thing, one of its prominent features.
It is a screen. This thing is a screen.
It is a screen. And then they're immediately telling you, don't look at that. That is not what we made this for. Here, look at somebody else and we're going to milk a cow. And like, as funny as that is, like, I appreciate the humor in it. Makes for great GIFs online.
Right.
It doesn't match up with everything else they presented. Like, sure, the arms game, the boxing game, also used the Waggle. Those were the two Waggle games. Like, the other games probably have some motion control stuff,
but they led with
there.
that. Well, they led with the price, right?
Which was fine. Should we talk about the price or finish up the Waggle?
Yeah. Let's talk about the price.
Okay, $299. I think Wombat said that price.
Woohoo! I think I did too.
Yeah, I think you were $299. I think I was $349. I think Cheapy was $250.
$249.
Yeah. It was going to be somewhere in that range.
Yeah, we all agreed. I think I only picked that price because it was in the middle of you guys.
Right. And by the same, I shot a little high just because why not? Let's go for $350. Let's go all in.
I mistakenly thought that Nintendo had learned their lesson, but I hadn't read Console Wars at that time, so I would have revised my answer. Anyway, so yeah, 300 gets you the Switch, the dock, 2 Joy-Cons, and a thing that you can attach 2 Joy-Cons to form one controller. And that's it, right?
The cables. They
The
threw in
cables.
the cables.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I
think the surprise there was no pack-in game.
Yep.
Just because you
both
alluded to, the Wii, you packed that game in.
Yeah, so did the Wii U had a packing game.
Yes, it did.
It had Nintendo Land.
Was it great? But
it was something.
It was something. They've had a history of packing games in here for at least the last 2 consoles. And Reggie talked about it. He said it was because they wanted to be at the $300 price, and that
is an
didn't
answer.
make it so they could put a game. It was a game. Yeah, this is the answer. It's fine. I have no problem with that answer. If they wanted to charge $300 for it, they knew how much profit they wanted to make. And this is what they settled on. But I think part of that too is because they're not sure what this thing is. They don't know what people want. It's got the Waggle stuff. So do you throw a Waggle game in there? Is that what this console is? Or do you throw Zelda in there because that's the game everybody's going to want anyways?
No, they ain't throwing that shit in.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, you don't throw in Zelda. The problem is that they're not prepared with a game that kind of falls in between at launch to sort of show what this console can do or is sort of meant for. Because like Chibi said, they may not know themselves.
No, Ship said that. But I
Ship
think that 1-2 Switch game would be perfect for a pack-in.
A lot of people were saying that. But isn't that really more a little too Wii-like? Or...
But they led with that in the presentation. Here was like the marketing lead on the Nintendo Switch through that presentation. Okay, it's a home console that you can take with you. Okay, it's not a portable console that you can use at home. Don't say that. Okay, it's a home console that you can take with you on the go. That's the messaging throughout the presentation and in all the post presentation stuff. So those 1-2 Switch games, when they're demoing them, they all look like they would be enjoyed like away from home. So I don't understand why that would go against the messaging.
They're trying to show you could take this somewhere and play it like a console on the go, which I don't know. That market seems extremely small. I don't know what that market is. The thing with it, like with leading with the 2 motion games, this and ARMS, which ARMS looks like it definitely leans more towards like traditional gamer style. But
I still don't understand, and you and I briefly talked about this, why they didn't call it Punch Out: ARMS.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me either. But they're trying to put a new IP out there. I know that they're hoping this catches on kind of like Splatoon does. I just don't think that putting people bought the gamer focused Wii Motion games on the Wii because we didn't have a choice. If we were going to want to play something, we had to play it with those controls on the Wii. This is okay. Here's a game that looks like what gamers kind of want to play. Like looking at it, it looks like a fun game. People have the springy arms. It looks like a Ready to Rumble type of Power Stony, that type of thing. But now you've brought back these motion controls, which I don't think that crowd it's a very
I think
smaller
they
crowd
said that with ARMS, you don't have to use the motion controls for that game.
Okay, good. Why aren't they there?
Which is good. Yeah.
But the motion control part of their presentation did not mesh with anything else they showed.
They didn't have much to show is a big problem. And I think this is a classic case of Wombat's this product doesn't exist yet. I think there's a lot of signs that there's a lot of stuff that's not finished yet for this thing.
But I also think that they go with
it's on
Wombat's,
the shelf. It doesn't exist.
Wombat's dream. They had Wombat's dream when they were inventing this, but then realized that it's not possible.
Well, what do you
Wombat
mean?
wanted this thing to do everything. He wanted them to have all their portable games on here and have Nintendo just developing for one console. And what were some of your other things? You wanted superpower?
Well, it was the basic argument, because GP always likes to say that, Nintendo's biggest competition is Apple. And my argument has always been that Nintendo's biggest competition has always been Nintendo. And the reason why, I never felt the reason to get a Wii U was because I had a 3DS and all the IPs that I want to play are available on that console. May not be the same games, but it scratches that itch. I have a 2D Super Mario Brothers game, a 3D Super Mario Brothers game, a more recent Legend of Zelda game that's excellent, and Kirby, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers. I have all of those games. I own all of them. So when people, and you included, Shipwreck, said, I don't have a Wii U, how can I talk about Nintendo? I've played all of their major IPs within the last 3 years. I didn't say you couldn't talk
about Nintendo. I just said you didn't know what you're talking about with the amount of Wii games. You had no idea how many Mario games there were on the Wii U.
Yeah, and I don't, so the reason why I never needed a Wii U is because I have those games. I have my Animal
You're not going to need a Switch either.
Exactly. Well, that's what's so interesting is, they've come out recently in the last really couple of days, and very importantly today, with all the Fire Emblem announcements, that, they're still heavily going to support the 3DS. So,
and
it's
mobile. And mobile.
And mobile. So it's very confusing why they decided to make the Switch like this if the intention isn't to have it be everything.
It's not.
They're all in one. Well, that's what I mean. It's like, but why have the home console suffer because of it?
I saw something. Well, I agree with that. I said before, just make the home console version. Like, even if it's underpowered, you get the price down.
Oh yeah.
It would be $200 without a tablet.
Yep.
Yeah, you get the price down and you have a console that plays all these virtual console games that they're going to have. You can charge for the online if you want, whatever. You can do all this other stuff. You just don't have this weird semi-portable product that you're making consoles games for. Which I understand people, like, it definitely has a place. It just doesn't have the huge market that it could. Because of that $300 price tag. I lost my train of thought. It's so easy to lose your train of thought on this thing.
Because I've spent this whole week just really thinking about the Nintendo Switch and trying to figure out what Nintendo's motivations were.
I think that there was an intention on making it their all-in-one console.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
I think they may have realized too late that they can't have it be their all-in-one console.
Well, here's what they can do, though. They can, in a way, okay? They can put out the Switch, and they're putting out the Switch now, $300, okay? If this thing can hang in there for a year, which it can hang in there for a year or two. I'm sure it can do fine. They can put out a modified version of this thing that doesn't hook up to your TV at all. It's all in one. Maybe the little things don't slide off. It's just like a Vita or something.
But are they better off going in the other direction? Like Shipwreck and I were just talking, maybe they have one that just connects to your TV. No tablets.
Well, I think at that point they could do both. And if it does, I think this is too good of an idea for them to implement is my problem. Like this entire time I'm thinking Nintendo is not going to want to get rid of just their portable side. That is the side that they make money in. And I realize that is getting smaller for them, but they're the only game in town there as far as outside of like
premium portable gaming where you're paying $40 for a game or so.
Right.
And you feel as though those games are worth it.
Right.
That's the difference.
It creates a difficult pricing structure for them just game-wise if they have different games coming out, which like they have their portable Zelda here on the same console as their normal Zelda, and they're priced very similarly because they're both Switch games.
No, they're going to be the same game. What they're going to do.
But no, but they can't have it the same game because they can still make that old Zelda. That's the thing. Like
But why not just make two Zelda games now?
Still.
Two different
Right,
games.
but the pricing then becomes an issue.
There's no issue. $60. What's the issue? There's no issue
that's
at
the
all.
Issue.
Yeah,
That's
look,
the issue.
look, I mean, Nintendo is not being aggressive on pricing at all. They've said, fuck it. They said, hey, we're Nintendo. Buy our shit. We have a Nintendo tax. Oh, you want the Pro controller? That's $70. Oh, you want another dock to hook up your TV? Even though it's just a piece of plastic and an HDMI cable? Oh, $90. How about that? I mean, they obviously think that their shit is worth, a premium. And I don't see that they would have any problem selling. Look, now it's just one Zelda game. Who's to say if it's, it's not worth $60? It's the same exact game you get on the home system. Except
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Why not?
Because you don't want it to be. They make totally different 2D Zeldas that people love.
Right.
Those are still going to get made.
Maybe they'll put those on mobile.
No, but it's
No, that wouldn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make money.
No, it doesn't work.
They don't make money.
Yeah.
They've tried to create a space here that I don't think exists. And it's the space in between portable gaming and console gaming, which they've already got covered by portable gaming.
Right. They're saying you're saying
again, Nintendo's biggest competition is going to be themselves.
I agree with that.
If there's going to continue to make Fire Emblem games for the 3DS and announce those as the first thing they announce when they have their treehouse on Fire Emblem, again, I can think of a lot of, I wouldn't be surprised if you were like, well, maybe I'll wait a year on the Switch because that's the game I want, and I'll just wait and I'll buy it on the 3DS, which I already have.
There's like 6
Unless
launch games?
Yeah. I mean, I understand, obviously I am excited to play a brand new Legend of Zelda game, but I don't know if I need to spend $350 in March in order to do it.
360.
360.
Did you want a Pro controller?
No, I don't.
Can you afford a Pro controller?
I think sliding the two wackadoos on the center blocky should be fine.
It's not going to be fine.
It looks
You're
weird.
going to want the Pro controller.
That's what they call it, right? Sliding the wackadoos on the Pro hickey.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're so cheap, Nintendo. They just. And what about this? Let's talk about the online service that is. They have now a paid online service that, as everybody knows, they offer you an NES game and an SNES game a month, and then they take it back at the end of the month.
Is it one of each? I thought it was just one total.
I heard it was just one.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Or.
It's an or, not an and, and at the
Excuse
end
me.
you only have it for the month. When the month is up, you don't have it anymore.
And there is no real online service built into the console. It's going to be in an app on your phone that you download everything that you do
and
online.
There's no media. There's like no media apps either. So there's Netflix at launch.
No. Doesn't sound like they're too interested in that.
It doesn't need Netflix, let's be honest.
It needs Netflix and YouTube.
You think so?
Kids use Netflix and YouTube.
I understand that, but they probably already have something in their room that has Netflix.
That does not
and YouTube.
matter. Do you want to use this device, or do you want to use something else in your room? That is the problem with going with this online strategy that they're going with too.
They're making people use their competitor to access online, basically, in a way.
There's a lot about this that doesn't make sense. And a lot of it that I feel like they may work on. I think a lot that I feel as though they need to work on throughout the year, which makes me hesitant to buy this at launch. Not that I was going to anyway.
Oh, you got to be crazy to buy this at launch. You got to just
I'm
be.
buying it at launch.
I'm buying it too. I'm crazy.
Yeah. I want to play that Zelda game.
I do too.
Okay. I really want to play that Mario game, but it's not out till the fall.
I mean,
or holiday season. I guess.
If you're pre-ordering a Switch, you're just
what you're doing,
right. You're saying like fuck it to reason and saying, oh,
you got me, Nintendo. Right,
right. I like Nintendo, and I'm going to buy this thing, even though I know the online.
Which is fine. It's perfectly fine to think that way.
Of course, yeah. I'm in. Sure, fuck it. Let's see. Let's have some laughs. I'm sure. I'm excited to play Zelda. It looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the other launch games? 1-2 Switch. I'm not interested in that.
Not
Skylanders.
Already have it.
Just Dance.
Nope.
The
Bomberman, Super Bomberman R.
No thanks.
I am a big Bomberman fan, so I'm interested in that.
It's $50 right now. They have not confirmed a price for this game yet. It was $60 and now it's down to $50.
The problem
That
is,
seems like a lot for Bomberman R.
well, imagine like you want to get extra controllers so your friends can play.
Right.
4-player. Are you kidding? Like, forget it.
Is this game, is it going to be online? I hate to ask the question.
Oh, but you want to play that game. You just want to play. Excuse me. You want to play that with people on the couch. That's where the fun is.
You want to be able to smell that burp. While you're
Yeah,
playing.
that was pretty gross. I had a
That was
spinach.
super
Listen to this.
gross.
I had a spinach and bacon pizza tonight, and it was fantastic. Oh, I want to.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bomberman game, it looks fun, but it's hard to justify that price.
Well, think how much it's going to cost if you want to put together 4-player. I mean, it's an 8-player game. Think about if you want to play 4 players locally, how much that's going to cost you. I can't figure it out. I guess it's like, so you only need to buy 2 sets. Oh no,
Yeah,
one more set of Joy-Cons, I guess.
Yeah, but you don't want to play with those.
Right. My hands hurt already just thinking about that. So
They're
what
so
would I have
tiny.
to do? I'd have to buy 3 sets of Joy-Cons at
You
what?
just get 3 Pro controllers.
3 times
No,
70.
8 Pro controllers.
8. Great. I don't know. It's pretty pricey, I would say. Was it what else? Was that all the
Tetris, right?
Which
Isn't that
one?
a launch game? Puyo Puyo Tetris?
Is that
Or
launch?
is that maybe it's close to launch, I think at least. That's a great game. I have it for Xbox One.
It's not a great launch lineup. The Wii had a much better launch. Wii U had a way stronger launch lineup, I think. I did watch the video for Snipper Clips. That looked kind of cute. But is that like they're going to charge $60 for that, right?
I would assume so. That was like a student project that they picked up and finished.
Okay.
Do you think Nintendo's strategy is just to get people to pay $60 for portable games? And they just figure like, fuck everything else. Let's just do this.
I don't know. I don't know what their strategy is.
That's not a great strategy, I would say. Like,
I don't think that they know what their strategy is with this. Just with all the different features that this thing does, there's nothing clear cut. Like the clearest cut thing you have is you can play not current console level games, but like last console generation level games on the go. Like that's the main selling point of this thing. They're new games. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm just saying like tech wise.
Skyrim.
Well, that game is announced. This is one thing. That game is announced. That game does not have a date until fall. That game is a 5-year-old game that I would be very surprised if it ever comes out on the system.
Whoa.
Very surprised. I don't think this thing can run it.
I think it'll come out. I don't know how well it's going to run, but I think it's going to come out.
Bethesda's never put out a game for Nintendo console.
Hey,
That's why I think it'll come
This
out.
thing has been they've announced that there was a Vita. Was that Skyrim? It was Elder Scrolls. I can't remember if it was Skyrim. That never came out on the Vita. They never got a portable version of whatever Elder Scrolls was announced for Vita. I don't think they can make this thing run on the Switch. And
I'm
if they
curious
do,
to see what happens.
I think
I'm
this
not
thing
saying
will
that you're
suck
wrong.
through batteries so fast.
Oh yeah, it'll be like an hour and a half. But
yeah, they say 3 hours on Zelda, but real world, I don't know what that actually is. After you go through a few cycles.
There's a lot more going on in Elder Scrolls than Zelda, as far as like what's constantly going on in the world.
Hey, it could be running like a PC port at low settings.
But there's so much background stuff going on in that game.
Wow.
Like I have
All right.
my doubts. Like as soon as I saw that was not like anywhere near the launch of this thing, and when they have not really shown any footage of it, just like Todd Howard saying, "Yep, we're really excited about the Switch. Here's our 5-year-old game that we kind of put a video on it."
Right. That's how into it we are. And what about these other guys just standing in front of logos and drawings? That's not great for a presentation.
Well, it's the promise of a bright future.
Yeah, but you should. I think you'd want to show like footage at this point. Like, things coming out like now.
It's the idea of a console that at best is going to have. How many games a year are they going to be able to put out for this console? How many games a year are you getting? And again, it could also come down to, and I see the other side of the argument on, well, how many games do I really need? But, you're buying this console to be your Nintendo machine, right? I mean,
that's what it is.
Basically, that's what it is.
This is, for all intents and purposes, this is the follow up to the Wii U, and it falls very much into the third party support that got.
And in many ways, it's very much like a follow up to the Wii U. If you could, it has a tablet, and although I guess you can't use the tablet and have it on your TV at the same time, right?
No, it veers from the Wii U in that direction,
which is kind of strange, I guess.
Well, it's because the dock doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think this through. But if they're going to continue to support the 3DS, if a Zelda game is coming out on the 3DS in 2018, where would I be if that's what I'm
No,
feel
that's
like,
not happening.
Now's the time.
I don't think that's happening.
I think they have another portable in development. I really do.
That's a different platform than Switch?
Maybe. I see the Switch as very reactionary to the Wii U just bombing extremely hard.
But then how come they made something so similar? That's what it was almost like this was something.
Well, because they know the main complaint about the Wii U is that everybody thought it was a tablet that you could take with you, and then they realized you can't go out of the room with it.
Right.
So they thought they solved it by making it portable. And then they thought,
but that's not
well, the Wii was really popular, so let's get some motion controls on there, and maybe that'll bring people back. And
I think at the end of the day, all people want is a cheap machine that they could play their Nintendo games on at home.
I think, and a portable, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not portable. It's a home console that you could take with you.
Well, I mean, that. To be clear, when we're saying that, this thing is portable. It has a 2 to 7 hour battery life on it. Is what they're
which is similar to what the 3DS has.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have the portable games, and it doesn't have the portable price to become Nintendo's portable.
It's
You're
also
not buying
portable in like
Switches for your kids.
It's also portable in that you can bring it with you, not that you can fit it in your pocket or fit it even like it's big. It's pretty sizable.
I mean, but when compared to a 2DS, which is $80, comes with Mario Kart and already has a library behind it. It's that competition. It's a tough sell against itself. My son just got his first 2DS. This is where I'm coming from on this. He's really, he's 5 years old. He can really barely play anything well, but he loves playing the Mario, 2D Super Mario Brothers on that. He loves it. So, he's a Nintendo fan. Sabrina is totally into Animal Crossing still. They're both still Nintendo fans. But they don't need a Switch because they have those games on something that I already have in my house. And to be honest, neither one of those games is going to be on that console at launch anyway. And there's no announcement of an Animal Crossing game anyway. I mean, there might be one, but when? And, is that what we're buying? Is that what we're buying this for? So I could play the games, I do believe Nintendo does have some new IPs up their sleeve that are probably exciting and that I would probably very much enjoy. But is it really the promise of the old ones? I think so.
I think people put too much faith in what they imagine Nintendo is.
I think they have it in them. And I also think that there are other IPs that they could probably dip into that well and maybe come up with something.
What's your favorite new Nintendo IP of the last 10 years?
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's something out there.
Right. It's a bunch of old guys who don't want to do anything different. They just want to stay the course, change as little as possible, just go with the flow.
I mean, I'm not a Splatoon.
No
I've never owned Splatoon, but people seem to like it. It's something.
Well, sure, but what's your favorite new IP what's this one that you're looking forward to?
I don't know. I still think that there's room in this world for a new Metroid game, like a real
there
Metroid
it
game.
is. The hope, the Nintendo hope that
I know.
this is going to be the console that has the games I want.
But that's why I haven't bought it. That's why I haven't pre-ordered it. It's why I never bought a Wii U. It's that promise. It's the hope of them having the games I want, and then finding out that they're releasing games that are the games I want on the console I already own.
No, you make a very good point.
Except for Metroid.
Right, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, but that hasn't happened on any console.
Maybe they're saving it for Switch.
And they did make a Metroid game for the 3DS. It just wasn't very good.
Right.
They had that blast ball. Was that what it was
Federation
called?
Force, I believe, is what it's called.
Something dumb, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Nintendo has made a great argument to say, "Hey, go buy this Switch if you haven't already bought a 3DS." You know, I mean, have they? There's like the games that are coming out this year. I mean, Wombat, you said that Nintendo. You made a really good point. So Nintendo, like to really show that they're serious with this thing, has to come out with their big guns, their big properties, and show the games that they have. And they showed Zelda, but we've seen Zelda before, and we all know that
they don't have a Mario for close to another year.
It's insane. It's insane. They did the exact opposite.
It's too long, and it's people are like, see, they have 5 games coming out this year. I'm like, they really don't, and they don't have that AAA Nintendo title once a quarter. I mean, really, and I've cut it down to 4.
They've got 3.
What do they? They have Zelda.
They have Zelda, Splatoon 2, and
there you go.
Super Mario Badonkadonk.
And the Mario Kart remake, isn't that coming out this year?
I don't. Are you going to give them that one as well?
I know that people are going to give them.
Okay, well then you get 1 a quarter then.
I guess
you're
so.
in.
I guess that's it.
I just heard you pre-order.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess that's it. I don't know how interested I personally am in Splatoon, but yeah.
Let's compare for a moment the launch lineup of the Wii U and the Switch. So the Wii U actually had third-party support at launch. Kind of. I mean, it was ports. They were ports.
It was old ports too, though.
But they had some names that people would have heard of before and maybe fool them into thinking that this thing is going to get third-party support. They had Assassin's Creed 3, Batman, Arkham City. They had Call of Duty, Black Ops 2. They had Darksiders 2, Mass Effect 3.
Most of these had been out for other consoles, though, for like a year.
Yes, it's true. But it's something. It's something on the shelf.
No, I agree.
And they're names that you've heard of before and say, oh, maybe even if you're not interested in buying those games because of the reasons you just said, you go, oh, but maybe the next one's going to come out for this system.
What'll also be interesting with the Switch, I know I just kind of veered off, is, how they're going to handle their supply and demand issues on something that has software. And how many shelves of software there are going to be when there's no hardware to go with it?
There's going to be plenty of hardware.
You think so?
Yeah, no, there was no shortage of Wii U's. There won't be any shortage of Switches. I was able to pre-order 3 of these things. No problem.
I was able to get one. And I'm lazy.
I'm looking forward to that.
We forgot Zombie U, which was an exclusive game for the Wii U.
And before people ask why I pre-ordered 3 of them, it's because I will cancel or return 2 of them. Whichever one gets to me first is the one I'll keep.
Hedge those bets.
Right.
For science.
Yep.
For the people. People need to know what you think. Wow. All right. There's some really good questions from people about the Switch.
All right.
Let's do a few of them. At Nick Lore asks or says, I agree with the criticisms you've tweeted out earlier this week about the Switch, but what is something that you like about it?
The Nintendo games.
Yeah. I've never said I don't like Nintendo games.
I like the concept. I think that's a good concept. The concept of you can play on your TV or you can take it with you. What I don't like, you know what I don't like. I like it in theory. I don't like the execution. Is that really something that I like about it? That I follow.
I mean, that's fine. Sure. I think that's a fine thing to like. It's the dream. The dream is that, hey, I wish I could take this PS4 with me and play it everywhere.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I think what the real dream is, and what one would think would be an attainable dream, would be, hey, this thing is now the Nintendo system, and I can access like a wide variety of virtual console games from different eras, and not have
them do that.
Yeah, but how long is that going to take?
They'll slowly build it up. They're not going to throw everything out there at once because it kind of devalues their portfolio a little bit because they hold on to that stuff.
No, but
really tightly.
But I'm longing, not longing. I'm not like desperate for sure, but I think as a person who appreciates good business, I'm longing to see Nintendo say, hey, we have a catalog of games that people want access to. Let's charge a subscription service for that. We can get a premium. Okay, we can charge for online, and we can charge for some sort of subscription service where we're not dripping out one game a month to you, but you have access to hundreds of games. So that's where you want to be. You want to be in the subscription business game. And why settle for $10 a month from people when you can get a lot more? I don't know. I think it's like just missed opportunity. Because they don't want to take risks. They just want to do the same old thing. At
what did you like about the Switch? Well, I bet you didn't answer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nice. I like the idea of these games. What I see of the new Zelda game, I like the new Zelda game. I know that, you guys have your criticisms of it, but I see it and I'm like, I want to play that game. And there's nothing.
I think the criticisms you're talking about with us with the Zelda game are strictly on
graphical.
Both Sheep and I don't think it is very nice to look at.
I like the art style a lot.
The art style looks okay, but everything looks washed out. Like you said earlier, it looks like they turned the contrast up all the way.
I have this weird problem with my TV. Remember I told you I bought like the Evolution kit to make it have HDR? Samsung's just sucks, man. I mean, so now whenever it feels like it just turns the contrast up to 100. And everything gets washed out. And I have to go in and turn it back down to 75 is where I usually keep it. So I know what a washed out picture looks like. And I watched the latest Zelda trailer. And yeah, I said, this looks like my fucking TV.
But it also still looks like a Zelda game I want to play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for that.
Right.
And that's really all the best thing compliment you can give a console is it has a game on it that I really want to play. But it also, to be in all fairness, it's coming out in March, and so is the new Mass Effect game, and that's coming out on things I already own. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to spend $350. I could just spend. I have no idea what version of Mass Effect I'm getting yet. That's another thing I need to deal with on my own personal time. But
right.
Let's say $48.
Yep.
Instead of
a lot of money.
$350.
I think the issue kind of boils down to if the device itself, if you did not have the Nintendo games on it, this is not a device that you would want to go get.
No, I would not get it if it wasn't if it was an Nvidia Switch,
which it is.
We wouldn't it wouldn't get nearly as much press as it's getting.
Right. Here's a great question from @311 Phillies. Was it a mistake for Nintendo to not cancel Zelda on Wii U and force you to buy a Switch to play it?
I believe that's 311.
What did I say? 311?
311. Yeah.
Who are you to say?
Someone who knows the difference between three doors down, Third Eye Blind, and 311.
But maybe it has something to do with the Phillies.
Or their area code. What's the area code there?
I think what is the area code in Philadelphia? 215, I believe.
311.
I do not think they should have canceled the Wii U version because that just makes people upset about the Wii U.
Yes, there are people out there, but that is a thing that is happening. People will not buy a Switch, but probably not that many.
Right, that they've done the math there.
Yeah.
and most people who have bought a Wii U are going to buy a Switch.
Yep.
Let's see here. Okay, here's a theory. At Scott Dave writes in and says, there's a possibility that the general public is ready for a new Nintendo platform. A lot of Wii owners did not buy a Wii U.
Certainly they didn't. That is an understatement.
That is an understatement. It's like 110 million Wiis, and did they get up to 4 million? I forget what Wii U got up to. I don't know that the Switch looks appealing to people who bought the Wii and didn't buy the Wii U.
The games they presented certainly aren't. Other than 1-2 Switch, everything is very core gamer centric. Like, you've got your Fire Emblem Warriors, you've got Zelda, you've got Bomberman, Arms. These are not games that are like
tennis.
Yeah, these aren't tennis. They're not boxing. Well, I guess Arms is boxing, but it's not.
Yeah, I think Arms will play well on the Jimmy Fallon show.
You do?
As will that other game. That was it 1-2 Switch or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess they will.
That's going to play well on late night. It'll play well on Ellen.
But do you think it'll play well?
And that's why those games are made.
But those games, they're not going to keep making those games.
No, but they're going to make them now so they could go on, so you could have Reggie on the talk shows.
Oh, poor Reggie.
I know, poor Reggie.
I feel bad for Reggie.
Don't feel bad for Reggie. I'm sure you can look up his salary online. I'm sure it's posted.
Doesn't mean he's fulfilled as a person.
I would find a way.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Reggie.
I think that
I think Reggie has probably a lot of good ideas at this point and has spent a lot of time studying the American marketplace and probably knows what's going on and probably would like to see some of his ideas get implemented. And I feel like he's getting shut out. That's what I have to say about the matter.
Glassdoor.com, you think that's reliable?
Stop. It doesn't matter how much money he makes. Look, when you're an executive a high level executive, it's not about the money. He's already rich. He wants to have an impact.
I don't know. Well, maybe
right?
He likes that. Maybe he just really likes the ability to provide for his family in a way that that really very few people will ever be able to do. Or maybe that's the fulfillment.
First of all, I love how I'm telling you what Reggie's thinking. Like I spoke to Reggie once. Remember?
Yes, I know. I was with you.
Remember when we asked him a question on mic and I didn't turn on the mic?
Uh-huh.
That was good.
I do. The lost interview.
Reggie could have both of those things, Wombat. He could be working at a company that values the input of people from America and make a lot of money.
He's having to do a lot of interviews for this thing.
Yes.
My goodness. Like compiling information on this thing, so many outlets have interviewed him. Like he should have just had a press conference where
he's busy.
People could ask him questions. He's not so busy that he's having like 8 interviews a day with all.
No, that's what I mean. That's what he's busy doing.
Oh, according to the I'm sure very reliable website of getnetworth.com.
Oh, stop! Who cares?
He apparently is worth $21 million. I don't believe that's.
Don't go. You can't go by any of those websites. It's ridiculous.
I was gonna say I wouldn't go by that number though.
I told you. I listened to somebody who was on Howard Stern who said that they had no money, and I looked them up on one of those sites, and they said that they had several $1 million.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm telling you, I'm sure that's not right about that at all. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm sure he makes a very nice living.
Yes, of course. Nobody's contesting that. I think I don't know. I think that Reggie's job, you're right. His job is to be, look, he's became a personality after going on stage at E3 for that first time. He became an internet meme, basically. And to put Reggie in a room with people and have him interviewed, and chances are your coverage of Nintendo is going to be a little more positive than if you just did a press conference to everybody or had somebody else talk to him.
Sure.
Reggie's a personality. Look, these decisions are made like for a reason. They're not just left to caution. Somebody thought that this was a way to get better coverage, have people talk to Reggie. Even though he doesn't answer your questions, really. He just says what he's going to say. But hey, he's got to do what Reggie's got to do. He's got to spew the gospel from Japan. And I don't know. It wasn't all great news, I would say.
He's got to act like he has answers, but know that he doesn't have answers.
Or he has to act that he doesn't know what the answers are, but he knows that it's going to be bad news and has to just say that don't worry, there's more news to come. Yeah. I mean, do you really think the virtual console news is going to be positive? Has anything about the way Nintendo's handled these things in the past led you to believe that? Because
he keeps hinting at that they're going to be tied to your account, and it's going to be your universal.
Oh, has he?
Account.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's hinted at it. He hasn't come out and said it. At least not any details on what that actually means.
It'll be tied to your account, and you'll get a 10% discount when you rebuy for the Switch. But don't worry. But remember, so they'll probably add multiplayer into these games, and that'll give them an excuse to charge you for them again. I think that's really the strategy.
I don't have any problem with them charging again for if they're adding stuff to it.
But there's people who have spent 4 digits.
They knew what they were getting into.
I think they want to believe.
Everybody wants to believe Nintendo. It's Nintendo. I saw this earlier. Somebody replied to me on Twitter, and they said it was the No Man's Sky effect. And I think Nintendo itself is just the No Man's Sky effect. Like, everybody wants this to be something, and Nintendo to be something that they're not quite. Like, they're always going to fall short of everybody's aspirations for what Nintendo could be.
And yet I think people are going to be more forgiving of Nintendo than they were to No Man's Sky.
Absolutely. For some people, they've got an excuse for everything that Nintendo does.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I think it's pretty clear that Nintendo really is focused on Japan, if not just as a market, but only the people in Nintendo of Japan. And that,
well, you look at their third-party support, and it's all like Japanese RPGs.
Yep.
Which is great if you like those.
I was gonna say if that's the console, there are people that's the console they want, and they're the happiest because they're getting that console.
They're the Vita,
really
the Vita crowd. They nailed it. It's just I don't know if they don't take
the
what
West.
You want to copy.
Nintendo doesn't really take the West seriously. I don't know why, because that's where the money is and that's where the market is now. Japan the population is shrinking, and a quarter of the population is over 65. I don't know what they're thinking. And you look at the corporate structure of Nintendo, and Reggie and the guy from Nintendo of Europe are at the bottom of their executive structure. Literally, the last 2 guys. It's the Europe guy and then Reggie. It's crazy. America's got 3 times the population of Japan at this point in terms of available customers. It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense in the sense that if they can make a profit by focusing on what they're comfortable with, I guess I'll say it that way.
That does make sense. They don't want all the money. They just take their little slice.
Exactly. We could be profitable if we work this way. This has worked for us for 120 years.
Right.
We're going to continue to do it.
The problem is they're a public company, and if you're a shareholder, nobody wants to fucking hear that.
No, I'm not, and you're right.
That's how you get people to sell the shares in your company.
I guess if you're investing in Nintendo, you need to understand.
Yes, please understand.
Please understand, exactly.
Yeah. Good luck, Nintendo. I really hope that something happens. I mean, and this thing just catches fire somehow. I mean, not in the Samsung sense, but in the Wii sense. I
hope it's a great device to play Nintendo games on. That's really
best case.
All I want out of it. Yeah, is that, and I mean, the scenario that I want personally is to just pretty much just leave that thing in the dock full time, pick up a Pro controller, and feel like I'm getting a modern Nintendo home console experience. I don't expect it to be as powerful as the other consoles.
Yes. Hopefully your phone is charged if you want to do online play.
I'm waiting for more to come out on that to see exactly what.
You don't want to wear a bulky gamer headset anyway. Just get your phone and these headphones and put them in, and then you can't hear the game anymore. Perfect. With the chat, it's going to sound good.
Ugh, you can put your phone on speakerphone,
Perfect.
can't you?
But it looks like
Yeah.
it's using that for matchmaking and voice chatting and
I don't know. And it's going
yes,
to cost money, and it's
No, it's free with the subscription, paid subscription. There'll be
well,
a
that costs money then, right?
yeah, that's costing money.
yes. Well,
That's not
online
free-
services
free,
cost money.
Free with subscription is not a thing that exists. That's
I'm
not,
saying
you can't
the
say
app.
that.
The app. I'm talking about the app.
This magazine, it's free with subscription.
No, but the app does nothing if you don't have the subscription. So it might as well
Yes.
be free. It probably is free.
It's not free. You're paying for it with
Well,
subscription.
I would
How
think
much
like
do we think the subscription is going to be?
It's going to be
$50 a year
or
or 60 bucks a year.
50 to 60 a year.
I'm going to say 60. What place? They both charge 60 now, right? Or PlayStation's 50 still.
I think they're.
I never pay full price for them, so I don't really know. What
I don't know either. I always.
I know
I think
Xbox went
PlayStation's
up.
50, and I think
Xbox is 60.
Live is 60.
Yeah, Xbox went up. I remember to 60. So they'll probably charge 60. Look, the Nintendo tax. Fuck it. if Microsoft, the way they look at it is, if Microsoft can charge 60, we can charge 60 too. We're Nintendo. We fucking brought video games back from the dead.
Yeah, but I got Killer Instinct Season 2.
I saw that. There was I didn't personally download it. I downloaded something though.
Why not? It's worth downloading.
I'm not gonna.
It's got a
play
lot
it.
of content.
I'm not gonna.
It's like 13 downloads on that thing.
I don't want to. It's too much work for me. It's too many. Too many downloads. I like my games with no downloads.
Yeah.
Do you like 32 gigabytes of built-in storage?
I don't know. But there's no. I mean, look, how many games are there even? You could put all the launch games on that probably.
I think they said Zelda takes up half of it.
Oh. No, really? No.
Yeah, if you go with the digital version.
Oh,
I
right.
think-
Because it's probably
cover it.
usable, really, like 26 or something.
Yeah, some of it would be system stuff and everything.
Or is all the
But-
system stuff on your phone? I heard that you can't even turn the switch on unless the whole system runs off your phone. So you have to bring your phone around with you everywhere.
So, I mean, those memory cards, they're not super expensive. Those SDXC memory cards.
Okay, so that's good.
But they're not cheap either.
Oh, that's bad.
Right.
Say something
think-
else. I'll tell you if it's good.
I think it's like $40 for 128 gigs.
I don't know. I don't see myself buying that many games, to be honest. It's going to be, you'll be able to take your time and really plan out.
Well,
where
that's
you
going
get
to be
your memory
another thing
from.
that needs to be figured. That we'll need to wait and see what is the file size. How big is this Legend of Zelda game? How big is the
Chip said it
told
takes
you.
up
Mario
half.
Brothers game?
Takes up half of it.
Oh, it
it's-
does?
It's somewhere. Yeah, it takes up half of the 32 gigs is what I read. So,
Well, that's not that big. You just need a big card.
It's just that 32 is really small.
32 is just really small. It's not that it's a big game. It's just
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, maybe there'll be some really good news before, like at E3, that'll really change our minds. What's the E3 booth going to be? Just Zelda? Oh, no, because Zelda have been out for several months already.
yeah. It's going to be Mario
Mario.
Brothers.
The Mario
And Mario
experience.
Kart.
Look, we're only
Mario
going to have
Splatoon.
Mario.
Splatoon won't be out yet, I don't think.
I mean, I could see them just having a whole booth full of Mario. Couldn't you?
No, they'll have Splatoon as well.
Oh, okay. Two things?
And Fire Emblem.
But don't maybe they just
Well,
want to immerse
not for
everybody
the-
in Mario.
not-
Well, they'll have
well-
they'll have the Fire Emblem Warriors.
They wouldn't have even brought that last year, though. That would be in
Fine.
the Tecmo Koei booth.
They only had Zelda last year, right?
Yeah.
So this year's only going to be Mario.
It's possible.
Immersion, Mario immersion. I mean, it looked pretty cool, I guess.
They look crazy.
Yeah. I would.
The art styles didn't match. I don't know. It looked weird.
Yeah, I would hit that. I like weird.
My 5 Vault Boy Funko Pops all look very worried about this.
About the Switch
Yeah.
prospects.
They all have the same look on their face.
Well, sad face.
Yeah.